for Barbara Ann Michaels. The man with the 10-gallon heart who stood before you in the old dance hall, 10-gallon hat over his gallant cowboy heart, signaling a courtly invitation to Texas two-step together. A Western gesture you were quietly surprised by, still touched by. In that yellow rose place, on that Lone Star night, all the way through other slow and fast country dances, till he returned you to the table of your leading man, and placed his hat one last time, without words, over his grateful heart, and ever so gently and so gentlemanly departed. Welcome to the latest Floating Poetry broadcast, and thank you for leaning in to show 197, coming to you live this February 14th from the warm-hearted coast of Rhode Island. This is your poet, illuminator, and guiding spirit in the poetosphere, Colin Goedecke, a voice here and elsewhere for living our days more fully, more alively, more poetically. Last week's broadcast was Coffee Break. We percolated into all kinds of coffee drinking, coffee cultures, past to present, the joys of Java, coffee-infused to coffee-inspired songs, scenes, moments, memories, musings, and many freshly poured thoughts from listeners and others. This week, From the Heart, also paired with this Valentine's Day, where the show happens to fall, just so serendipitously happens to float. Well, we're going to visit the ways we come, or can come, beautifully to poignantly, openly to deeply, from our hearts, and others from theirs. And the places and moments hearts first meet, the feelings that invite, enliven, and enchant them, the loving experiences that spark their outpourings, and yes, talking too about romance and fidelity, and this heart and flower-filled holiday itself across America, awash in Valentinas and Valentinos of all kinds. And their dear hearts, maybe yours too today, a bit fuller, or melting, or joyfully skipping a beat. So, I've gathered a fresh and colorful bouquet of cultural commentary, poetry, quotes, anecdotes, and shared inquiry around this theme. I'm thinking of it as my love letter to not just the listening world, but to the universe. I've even got my heart socks on today. They're mustard color. One is with red hearts, and the other is with hammers. Someone gave them to me, and I said, well, I'm going to put them on today. Different depending on which you wear, on the right or left. I think whether you're breaking hearts or having heartbreak. So my hammers are on the right today, because I'm not really a heartbreaker. But let's make our way together. Turn on our heart lights and see what happens, what we see, what we discover, what feelings stir and flow. Maybe we begin by taking a deep, slow in-breath. Just being in your heart, deeper down in your heart. This is from Shelter Harbor, Rhode Island. April 2021, my birth month. Being in the heart of the forest, of the jungle, of darkness, of yourself, standing still in the heart of places far larger than you imagined, taking in, drinking in all the immensities, all the subtleties, where streams of primal feelings, visceral knowings, flow through your body, echo clearly through every openly, deeply receiving chamber. Dorian Laux, heart. The heart shifts shape of its own accord, from bird to axe, from pinwheel to budded branch. It rolls over in the chest, a brown bear groggy with winter. Skips like a child at the fair, stopping in the shade of the fireworks booth, the fat lady's tent, the corn dog stand. Or the heart is an empty room where the ghosts of the dead wait, paging through magazines, licking their skinless thumbs. One gets up, walks through a door into a maze of hallways. Behind one door, a room full of orchids. Behind another, the smell of burned toast. The rooms go on and on. Sewing room with its squeaky treadle, its bright needles. Room full of file cabinets and torn curtains. Room buzzing with 1,000 black flies. Or the heart closes its doors, becomes smoke, a wispy lie, curls like a worm and forgets its life, burrows into the fleshy dirt. Heart makes a wrong turn. Heart locked in its gate of thorns. Heart with its hands folded in its lap. Heart a blue skiff parting the silk of the lake. It does what it wants, takes what it needs, eats when it's hungry, sleeps when the soul shuts down. Bored, it watches movies deep into the night, stands by the window counting the street lamps, squinting out one by one. Heart with its 100 mouths open. Heart with its 100 eyes closed. Harmonica heart. Heart of tinsel. Heart of cement, broken teeth, redwood fence. Heart of bricks and boards, books stacked in devoted rows, their dusty spines unreadable. Heart with its hands full. Hieroglyph heart, etched deep with history's lists, things to do. Nearsighted heart, club-footed heart. Hard-headed heart. Heart of gold. Coal. Bad juju heart, singing the low-down blues. Choir boy heart. Heart in a frumpy robe. Heart with its feet up reading the scores. Homeless heart dozing, its back against the dumpster. Cop on the beat heart with its black billy club banging on the lid. Thank you, Dorian Laux. Heart. She's a very wonderful poet. Jane Hirschfield, For What Binds Us. There are names for what binds us. Strong forces, weak forces. Look around. You can see them. The skin that forms in a half-empty cup. Nails rusting into the places they join. Joints dovetailed on their own weight. The way things stay so solidly wherever they've been set down, and gravity, scientists say, is weak. And see how the flesh grows back across a wound with a great vehemence, more strong than the simple untested surface before. There's a name for it on horses when it comes back darker and raised. Proud flesh. As all flesh is proud of its wounds, wears them as honors given out after battle, small triumphs pinned to the chest. And when two people have loved each other, see how it is like a scar between their bodies, stronger, darker, and proud. How the black cord makes of them a single fabric that nothing can tear or mend. For what binds us. Thank you, Jane Hirschfield. I know her, but I did not know that poem until I was bringing material together for us, bringing our bouquet together. But that's quite lovely. Well, here's one of mine. This was a blessing, is for very, very dear friends of many decades, Angus and Laura Lee Bruce. This was on their 45th anniversary in 2022. And it begins with a line from Yeats's poem, Song of the Wandering Angus. And pluck till time and times are done, the silver apples of the moon, the golden apples of the sun. To the fruits of the sun and the moon, and your hearts and your love, that have filled the orchard of your lives, of your seasons, of your beautiful journey together through the world. May their fruiting and filling, ripening and brightening of your days never end. And love out to those beautiful friends and those faithful partners. An inspiration to me for a long time. Well, when you do everything from the heart, and do all with a good heart, as I seek to do every day of my life, and be talking to cooking, everything in between. Here's this. I cook with my heart, on the plate, in the pan, with bright blue eyes and blue heat, through all seasons, all seasonings, around the menu and mise en scène, mise en place. Over the wine of listening and nourishing I will pour into each spirit at the table. Through the poetry I will pair with dessert. Inside each eyeful and mouthful of love I will make, and we will taste and savor together. Which brings up memories of so many, countless suppers and other gatherings. I was cooking with my heart, and others were cooking with their hearts for me, and we were cooking, our hearts were cooking together in many ways, and do. This was for soul friends that came together at my 60th birthday soiree in Harlem, in New York City, back in April of 2018. And here's what I did. It's a little story about that moment. Hearing their hearts, I move round a candlelit dinner table of 9, wearing a silver-belled stethoscope. Lean down over the chairs and shoulders of each dear, so near to me here, friend. Bring a gentle hand holding the listening disc onto each warm chest in turn. To hear, through the open window of every celebrating breast, the rhythm, limn, hymn of their hearts, playing so clearly, so beautifully into my ears, flowing so freely, so gladly through the chambers of my echoing heart. Big touchstone that night, also in other ways, but that moment. Well, some of the many beautiful hearts that surround me, and there are many, and I'm graced and grateful. This is for Barbara. This was on her 51st birthday, 2021. Whether you fell from the sky, because I wanted to just talk about some of those hearts in my life. Whether you fell from the sky, late one night on earth, like a shooting star, or arose from the blue-green garden of the sea, from some deeply mythical place we may never know, but can surmise. What we do behold is the presence of a wild, bright being in our midst. What we can feel is the goodness of a goddess flowing her beauty and mystery, passion, imagination, through our bodies, through our hearts, through our lives. Love out to her, wherever she is tonight, right now, when she's listening. This is for a cattle rancher friend of mine in Brazil that I know and love, Nikki Sandor, on her 53rd birthday, 2021. Your ranchera is a verseada, is a story of love and nature, a song and dance that started at birth, has versed and refrained every day, years since, growing ever stronger, clearer, and all the sweeter. Surrounded by big sun and skies, grasslands, wild air, and tender animals, playing its chords through the heart of your life, heard in the heart's ears of all you know and held and hold so dear. Love to Nikki down in South America, south of me. Maybe not south of you if you're in South America. You might even be in Brazil listening to this. Maybe you even know Nikki. Here's another one. This is from 2023 for my amazing brother In spirit, Grant Peterson on his 69th birthday, guitarist and singer, quite marvelous. You can find him out there, here and there. Look forward to him actually visiting and bringing his guitar and us making some wonderful music together, singing some duets. This is Well Strung, your guitar, the one you serenade the world with, a world of hearts you play and sing to, with a heart and soul you deeply come from, flow from. You, strung with passion, as a musician, as a man, through seasons of listening, carefully listening, and learning, and humbly mastering, now to places public and private, animate, intimate, where you're evermore gladly, greatly, grantly resonating. Love out to that lovable man, Grant. Had a dear soul brother of years, Bradino, as I called him, no longer here on earth, I'm sad to say, and in my life in a physical way, but ever present in my heart. And this was on his 57th birthday in March of 2022. The full sail heart, the one filled with the wind of loving, the wind of deep feeling, the one you raise each morning, the billowing one that has carries you now through calm and heavy seas, and brought you and us along to many ports of joy. And one more I'm pairing with that is the partner that is still here, that he went on into the cosmos and very much wanted to have a piece about her as well. Beautiful soul. Yes, glad she's here. Dear soul sister. From your eyes to your heart, for April Hicks. From the iris and pupil of each eye you were born to see the world more beautifully with. To the petals and pistil of the heart you're flowering through this life with. In my eyes and heart, you're all grace. And she is, and you are, and love out to her. And let's go on now to questions, friends, for you about coming from the heart. I sent these questions out, most of them, to listeners and others, and I had a few responses back that I did want to share, among others. But let me ask these questions first, if you haven't heard or thought of them yet. When was the last time your heart leapt? Your heart sang with joy, with elation. Your heart melted. Your heart ached over someone's misfortune. Your heart was full to overspilling. When was your heart tenderly held by another? Who was your first love in life? Their name, face, spirit, and what sparked that great affection? When have you given of yourself with all your heart, without holding back? When have you been loved for who you really deeply are? Maybe are being loved this way in your days as I speak. That would be beautiful, and it can be beautiful. I know firsthand what it's like. When did you entrust your heart to another, and where it was honored and protected manyfold in return? Who is the most heartful person you know or knew or ever met? What kind of inspiration were they, if they were? What's your favorite love song? One that really sends you. Has there been a great heartbreak in your life? Maybe a relationship or other life event that led afterward to a great new heart remaking, a beautiful heart reopening. What does coming from the heart mean for you in the way you have lived your particular life? Who is your heart going out to in a very compassionate or empathetic way right now? And why? And what's the feeling of that in your body? Can a family come from its collective heart? Or a neighborhood? Or a community? Or a country? Or our world? Our society? And is there a higher or better place to come from than this? Isn't it time, friends, we really listened intently and faithfully to our hearts, our true uncovered hearts everywhere, and acted without fail on their guidance? From our living and bedrooms to our school, hospital, and boardrooms, to our houses of worship, our town halls and seats of government. For me, it's high time. And okay, I'm going to wind out these questions, and may you further ponder them beyond today, beyond now. But I want to wind out with a few responses and one other lovely sharing that came in for you, for us. This is from Michael in Texas. Colin, I would tell you so many stories about loving, but I am not much of a writer. The one love affair was the moment I was part of the birth of my son. The feeling is one I cannot even begin to tell you. Kind of like someone sharing your heart for real. And when he died, it was like someone cut part of it out. There's so many flowery words that could express this story, but I am not one to do it. I send you much love and big hugs. Michael. Thank you, Michael. It really moved me. It's moving me now, and maybe you too. Yeah, I know him well, and that was tragic, and hard to get through those things, those kind of heartbreaks. From Robin here in Westerly, does love have limits, or just us? Yes, well, that's one to ponder. And I have a beautiful sung piece from Chloe Goodchild of The Naked Voice, who kindly sent it to me from England to play. This is from her 7 Sounds of Love meditation. TheNakedVoice.com and ChloeGoodchild.com. You can check out her site. She's absolutely marvelous spirit and teacher and inspirer. And philosopher of sound, I guess we could say, soul sound. Well, let me cue it up. It's very short. It's about a minute and a half, but it's a lovely meditation. It might infuse you in a good way. Hold on. Thank you, Chloe. That beautiful, beautiful. I've heard it before, and I've done it before, and it's quite something. I hope that you took that in a marvelous way. And you can also find her, by the way. She's got some lovely albums out. Any listening platform that your streaming platform, Spotify and so on. Fierce Wisdom is one of her albums, and there are others. But look up Chloe Goodchild. You'll find all of her music. Very soulful. Well, okay. If you're wondering what love is for me, I think you're getting a taste of it in so many ways, and certainly in the poems and energies flowing right this show together. But it's this too, love. Love is a 4-letter bird of paradise. I was curious what the great psychologist Erich Fromm, F-R-O-M-M, might have to say. I've read him before, and he has a book called The Art of Loving. So I thought there might be a passage or two from that would be wonderful and relevant for us. So I did find the following. The first step is to take is to become more aware that love is an art, just as living is an art. If we want to learn how to love, we must proceed in the same way we have to proceed if we want to learn any other art, say music, painting, carpentry, or the art of medicine or engineering. Aside from learning the theory and practice, there's a third factor necessary to becoming a master in any art. The mastery of the art must be a matter of ultimate concern. There must be nothing else in the world more important than the art. This holds true for music, for medicine, for carpentry, and for love. And maybe here lies the answer to the question of why people in our culture try so rarely to learn this art, in spite of their obvious failures. In spite of the deep-seated craving for love, almost everything else is considered to be more important than love. Success, prestige, money, power. Almost all our energy is used for the learning of how to achieve these aims, and almost none to learn the art of loving. Erich Fromm. Thank you. Also, in 1822, French writer Marie-Henri Beyle, better known by his pseudonym Stendhal, he penned on love, 1842 to rationally analyze the highest human emotion. He said there were 4 different kinds of love. I won't explain them all, but there was passionate love, mannered love, which flourished in Paris about 1760, physical love. You are hunting, you come across a handsome young peasant girl who takes to her heels through the woods. Everyone knows the love that springs from this kind of pleasure, and however desiccated and miserable you may be, this is where your love life begins at 16. Vanity love. The great majority of men, especially in France, both desire and possess a fashionable woman, much in the way one might own a fine horse, as a luxury befitting a young man. Vanity, a little flattered and a little piqued, leads to enthusiasm. For the very young, love is like a huge river which sweeps everything before it, so that you feel that it is a restless current. Now a sensitive person has acquired some self-knowledge by 28. She knows that any happiness she can expect from life will come to her through love, hence a terrible struggle develops between love and mistrust. She crystallizes only slowly, but whatever crystals survive her terrible ordeal, where the spirit is moving in the face of the most appalling danger, will be 1,000 times more brilliant and durable than those of the 16-year-old, whose privileges are simply happiness and joy. Thus, the later love will be less gay, but more passionate, said Stendhal. Well, let's come to Mr. Valentine himself. As I sometimes think of him, a sweetheart fellow and a wonderful poet, also former poet laureate twice in a row from the Great Plains back some years back. Ted Kooser, K-O-O-S-E-R. This is from NPR. Ted Kooser shares the poetry of Valentine's Day. Around this time of year, for more than 20 years, women around the country have checked their mail and found a postcard bearing a red heart in the corner and a poem of Valentine from Ted Kooser, who was U.S. Poet Laureate from 2004 to 2006. Now he has collected those poems in a book called Valentines. Kusser says a friend who sent handmade valentines out each year inspired the project. The first poem in the book, Pocket Poem from 1986, is the first one he sent out to about 50 women. Well, what happened is that the list of people he added and who wanted to be on it got so large, he just couldn't do it anymore by hand. So he ultimately made a book because it ran into the thousands at one point, and that was it. So, but love that. I love that whole idea of his. Well, here's something I composed apropos on February 14th of 2021, 3 years back, and I'm reprising it here, this Valentine's Day, again. This is for every Valentine. I can say, without question or hesitation, without exception or explanation, without holding back or holding in my deeper feelings, clearer seeings, I can say with all freeness, all fullness, exuberance, and tenderness, with not just words but open arms, open-hearted song, day and evensong, sung for what we share, what makes our lives rhyme together, feel all the richer together. To you, dear friend, what I can say, want most to say is, I love you. Well, I'm a great lover of love songs, and I have a few here. And I have one right this moment in my hand. Oh, this was sung by Ray Bolger, who you may remember as the Scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz, the 1962 musical, he sang, so that's that. Sorry, that wasn't in 62, but he appeared in the 1962 musical All American, and he sang a song called Once Upon a Time, and it describes the loss of love over time. It's so lovely, I'd say, bittersweet. And years back, I remember having a small recital for friends in New York City, and I chose that among many other different kinds of songs. But I just the beginning of it is this. Once upon a time, a girl with moonlight in her eyes put her hand in mine and said she loved me so. But that was once upon a time, very long ago. But that, yeah, beautiful. Well, I thought we should talk a little bit about heartbreak, but in a good way, I would say, in a real way. But let me have a little sip of water. So I went to some words of David Whyte's, poet David Whyte, poet-philosopher. And in his book of Consolations, or called Consolations of Essays, very interesting essays, very provocative and invocative maybe too. Well, he argued that friendship helps us, quote, make sense of heartbreak and unrequited love. He said heartbreak is unpreventable, the natural outcome of caring for people and things over which we have no control. Heartbreak is a path that human beings follow through even the most average life. It's an indication of our sincerity in a love relationship, in a life's work, in trying to learn a musical instrument, in the attempt to shape a better, more generous self. Heartbreak is the beautifully helpless side of love and affection, and is in essence an emblem of care. It has its own way of inhabiting time and its own beautiful and trying patience in coming and going. It's how we mature, yet we use the word heartbreak as if it only occurs when things have gone wrong, an unrequited love, a shattered dream. But heartbreak may be the very essence of being human, of being on the journey from here to there, and of coming to care deeply for what we find along the way. There is almost no path a human being can follow that does not lead to some heartbreak. Thank you, David Whyte. Well, here's one of mine to pair with that from May of 2016, a greatly heartbreaking time in my life. A tree is falling. A monumental tree in the forest is falling. So colossal, so deeply rooted, so elementally entwined that it will not fall easily or swiftly or quietly. And as it looses from the earth, from the sky, earth first, it will shake and sound through the whole forest, through all the rings and canopies, hard and soft woods, all the places of light and shadow, growth and groundwater, quake and resound through all things winged and footed, flowering, streaming, flourishing here. And when, unmoored, unmasted, it lays at great length to rest among the abundant mosses and ferns, it will be monumentally sad for me to see, to lose, and remember in times to come how glorious a living thing it was. What a high-spiring, spreading hymn of joy it was. It sang without pause in the forest of my heart. From the spring of 2018 and the debut of my experiential exhibition of theater on paper, Behind the Curtain, what is hidden is only hidden from unseeing eyes. To the rest, it's all present, all presence. The tender heart, the shining soul of another, holding their deepest dreams and desires, doubts and fears, beauty and mystery out in the open. From New York City, November 2011. The heart is a remarkable thing. It can become sick over many things, over loss of faith or fortune, death of a loved one, dreams deferred, disappointments or disbeliefs, seeing suffering. Then somehow, often miraculously, heal, learn to reopen, sing, feel joy again. This next poem is one I've read at other times here on these broadcasts, and to me is so poignantly beautiful and fitting for this program of ours. Love After Love by Derek Walcott. The time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself, arriving at your own door in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, "Sit here, eat." You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit, feast on your life. Let us feast, friends, each one of us and all of us. Here's some wisdom from the great Zen teacher and peace activist Thich Nhat Hanh. This is from his book, beautiful book, True Love, A Practice for Awakening. Loving kindness is not only the desire to make someone happy, to bring joy to a beloved person. It is the ability to bring joy and happiness to the person you love. Because even if your intention is to love this person, your love might make him or her suffer. Training is needed in order to love properly and to be able to give happiness and joy. You must practice deep looking, directed toward the person you love. Because if you do not understand this person, you cannot love properly. Understanding is the essence of love. If you cannot understand, you cannot love. That is the message of the Buddha. And that's one book and thoughts. And here's another one. This is on how we learn and unlearn the language of love, from the book Love, What Life is All About by Leo Buscaglia. Well, he speaks about it poetically, but unambiguously in the following ways. One cannot give what he does not possess. To give love, you must possess love. One cannot teach what he does not understand. To teach love, you must comprehend love. One cannot know what he does not study. To study love, you must live in love. One cannot appreciate what he does not recognize. To recognize love, you must be receptive to love. One cannot have doubt about that which he wishes to trust. To trust love, you must be convinced of love. One cannot admit what he does not yield to. To yield to love, you must be vulnerable to love. And one cannot love what he does not dedicate himself to. To dedicate yourself to love, you must be forever growing in love. And he says this too, most of us never learn to love at all. We play at love, imitate lovers, treat love as a game. Is it any wonder so many of us are dying of loneliness, feel anxious and unfulfilled, even in seemingly close relationships, and are always looking elsewhere for something more which we feel must certainly be there? Quote, "Is that all there is?" the song asks. There is something else. It's simply this: the limitless potential of love within each person, eager to be recognized, waiting to be developed, learning to grow. It's never too late to learn anything for which you have a potential. If you want to learn to love, you must start the process of finding out what it is, what qualities make up a loving person, and how these are developed. Each person has the potential for love, but potential is never realized without work. This does not mean pain. Love especially is best learned in wonder, in joy, in peace, in living. Beautiful. Thank you, Leo Buscaglia. Thank you. Leslie Marmon Silko said, "Where I come from, the words most highly valued are those spoken from the heart, unpremeditated and unrehearsed." I like that. I agree with that. Well, I mentioned other love songs. There's so many, especially from the 1920s, 30s, 40s, my sort of sweet spot of song time. This is from liveabout.com. Unforgettable love songs of the 30s was a decade of unforgettable ones. The many of the well-loved classics we know today were written during this period. The 30s to 40s, known as the golden age of musical theater in America. You had Cole Porter, Irving Berlin, Jerome Kern, Gershwin, Richard Rodgers, others. Well, how about the song "Cheek to Cheek," performed by Fred Astaire in the 1935 film Top Hat. "Heaven, I'm in heaven, and my heart beats so that I can hardly speak, and I seem to find the happiness I seek when we're out together, dancing cheek to cheek." Yeah, such a good one. Voice isn't quite great tonight, but I'll give you some of the openings of some of these. How about Irving Berlin's "How Deep is the Ocean"? Like another 30s song. "How much do I love you? I'll tell you no lie. How deep is the ocean? How high is the sky?" Yeah, how about that? How about "Isn't It Romantic"? Richard Rodgers. It comes from the wonderful 1932 film Love Me Tonight with Maurice Chevalier. I want to go back and see that. I've seen it so many times I never get tired of watching it. "Isn't it romantic? Music in the night, a dream that can be heard. Isn't it romantic? Moving shadows right, the oldest magic word." Oh, yeah. "Night and Day" by Cole Porter. "Night and day, you were the one, only you beneath the moon and under the sun. Whether near to me or far, it's no matter, darling, where you are. I think of you day and night." "Long Ago and Far Away," do you know that one? Gershwin and Jerome Kern, 1944. Came from in CoverGirl, starring Gene Kelly and Rita Hayworth. "Long ago and far away, I dreamed a dream one day, and now that dream is here beside me." Yeah. How about 1949 from South Pacific? "Some enchanted evening, you may see a stranger. You may see a stranger across a crowded room." Yeah, how romantic is that, hey? "A Stardust," Hoagy Carmichael. That actually is back to 1927. Do you know that one? Sometimes I wonder why I spend the lonely nights dreaming of a song. The melody haunts my reverie, and I am once again with you. Hoagie Carmichael, he was fabulous. Irving Berlin, What'll I Do? I think that played in The Great Gatsby also, even though it came from 1923. That in the film played in that. Yeah. Kiss Me Kate, Cole Porter's great music call. Wunderbar. Just going to tell you about some of the songs. You can look them up, but go back to the originals. The Nearness of You, Hoagie Carmichael, 1937. How about that one? Why do I just wither and forget all resistance when you and your magic pass by? My heart's in a dither, dear, when you're at a distance, but when you are near, oh my. It's not the pale moon that excites me, that thrills and delights me. Oh no, it's just the nearness of you. Yeah, wow. How about Fly Me to the Moon? Tony Bennett in his 80s singing that, I thought was one of the most soulful. He sang it his whole career, but Fly Me to the Moon. Yeah. Well, I feel like we're flying to the moon kind of at the moment together. The heart of the moon. All right, more to go. More things to share. We might run over a little bit tonight. We'll see. And if so, maybe you'll stay with me. Stay with us. Here's a poem of mine, walking a cloud-banked strand of beach, Long Beach, New York. The feather you left, floating through my heart, from the last days of our loving, of our bodies nesting before my leaving, floating there until my returning. How about heart and memories, one still full of tender and deeper feeling that you may have from past experiences, however fleeting the details. This is Charles Simic, The Escapee. The name of a girl I once loved flew off the tip of my tongue in the street today, like a pet fly kept in a matchbox by a madman. Gone! Making my mouth fall open and stay open, so everyone walking past could see. Thank you, Charles Simic. And nature. What about nature and the animals and the birds that sing with all heart, as I hear when they sing? The birds have sung their notes faithfully, mellifluously, for thousands of years. Nightingales to orioles, robins to wrens, and to the ears and hearts of ancient Greeks and Mayans, emperors and farmers, explorers and lovers, across a world of forests and fields, marshes, mountains, ocean sides, outbacks, still, wondrously, joyously singing. And opening our lens more widely, more worldly, we could say, I went to May Sarton on how to live open-heartedly in a harsh world. This is from her 1977 book, The House by the Sea, a journal. Wonderful writer. Just finished her other book, a Journal of Solitude, of a Solitude. Well, here's what she said in The House by the Sea. I am more and more convinced that in the life of civilizations, as in the lives of individuals, too much matter that cannot be digested, too much experience that has not been imagined and probed and understood, ends in total rejection of everything, ends in anomie. The structures break down and there is nothing to, quote, hold on to. It's understandable that at such times religious fanatics arise and the fundamentalists rise up in fury. Hatred rather than love dominates. How does one handle it? The greatest danger, as I see it in myself, is the danger of withdrawal into private worlds. We have to keep the channels in ourselves open to pain, At the same time, it is essential that true joys be experienced, that the sunrise not leave us unmoved, for civilization depends on the true joys, all those that have nothing to do with money or affluence, nature, the arts, human love. Maybe that is why the pandas in the London Zoo brought me back to poetry for the first time in 2 years. Thank you, May Sarton. Thank you. A poem I composed for a very dear friend of many decades on her birthday in 2023, Jane Hewson. She's in Vermont these days. Well, it's relevant to me and to us, I think, all in its essence. In your garden, the garden of your life, there's always sun, always fresh air and fertile soil, much color, much beauty. In the garden of life you live in, so lovingly tend, and spend your days in, the oasis life has made for you, that you have made of your verdant, vibrant life. There's always the singing of birds, the jubilant song of your heart, the never-ending flowering of your whole being. Well, love out to her, and what of your garden, my friends, of your being, of your surroundings, of your world. From Sag Harbor, January 2018. The world is ready. In case you missed the news, not in any headlines, but all the heartlines, the world is ready to be loved today. The whole world, from the birds and the clouds, the cities and their spires, to the tides and the downpours, the countrysides and their colors, everything and everyone you're sharing this whole world, whole earth with, wake, breathe, dream your whole life with. Hear the heart, light, music, spirit of it, all ready and waiting for your loving. And it is, it surely is. Rainer Maria Rilke, Sonnets to Orpheus, number 7. To praise is the whole thing. A man who can praise comes toward us like ore out of the silences of rock. His heart that dies presses out for others a wine that is fresh forever. When the god's energy takes hold of him, his voice never collapses in the dust. Everything turns to vineyards, everything turns to grapes, made ready for harvest by his powerful south. The mold in the catacomb of the king does not suggest that his praising is lies, nor the fact that the gods cast shadows. He is one of the servants who does not go away, who still holds through the doors of the tomb trays of shining fruit. Thank you, Rilke. Let us be full of praise, shall we, of all life's givings and the world's gracings, and full of grateful, daily, fruitful feeling. Mary Oliver, the 4th sign of the zodiac, part 3. I know you never intended to be in this world, but you're in it all the same. So why not get started immediately? I mean belonging to it. There is so much to admire, to weep over, and to write music or poems about. Bless the feet that take you to and fro. Bless the eyes and the listening ears. Bless the tongue, the marvel of taste. Bless touching. You could live 100 years, it's happened, or not. I am speaking from the fortunate platform of many years, none of which I think I ever wasted. Do you need a prod? Do you need a little darkness to get you going? Let me be as urgent as a knife, then, and remind you of Keats. So single of purpose and thinking for a while, he had a lifetime. Thank you, Mary Oliver. Here's one of mine from here in Westerly, Rhode Island, June 2023, that first appeared in my show, and for that show 162 on Who Do You Want in Your Lifeboat. This is how you survive. Whatever fate may befall you, shipwreck to home wreck, country or world wreck, you can survive by manning with all your heart wits, and grit, the life-worthy boat you live in, the life-going vessel of flesh and blood, bone and spirit that has brought you this far, that has served you all this way, the boat that can, with care, with bottomless trust, keep you afloat, and bring you through even the hardest times, the darkest times, into a safe, sure, and welcome harbor. Yes. Terry Tempest Williams, poet, said, "I take a deep breath and sidestep my fear and begin speaking from the place where beauty and bravery meet, within the chambers of a quivering heart." Well, here's one of my great favorites from the British poet, World War I poet, Richard Aldington. Haven't read it in a while, but here it is. The Poplar. Why do you always stand there shivering between the white stream and the road? The people pass through the dust on bicycles and carts, in motor cars. The wagoners go by at dawn. The lovers walk on the grass path at night. Stir from your roots, walk, poplar. You are more beautiful than they are. I know that the white wind loves you, is always kissing you and turning up the white lining of your green petticoat. The sky darts through you like blue rain, and the gray rain drips on your flanks and loves you. And I have seen the moon slip his silver penny into your pocket as you straightened your hair, and the white mist curling and hesitating like a bashful lover about your knees. I know you, poplar. I've watched you since I was 10. But if you had a little real love, a little strength, you would leave your nonchalant, idle lovers and go walking down the white road behind the wagoners. There are beautiful beaches down beyond the hill. Will you always stand there shivering? Thank you. Again and always, Richard Aldington. Well, now coming into our last sharings and musings for this week, this day, this time. This is Rumi's poem, Now. If you were seeking, seek us with joy, for we live in the kingdom of joy. Do not give your heart to anything else, but to the love of those who are clear joy. Do not stray into the neighborhood of despair, for there are hopes. They are real. They exist. Thank you, Rumi. Let your heart break. Not into darkness, a hard stop or sorrow, but into sunlight, a wild gallop and song. From here in Rhode Island, November 2023. You can forget the keys to the house or car, the address of a restaurant, the grocery list, the name of a tree or bird or passing acquaintance, the way to make bread, the words to a song, the appointment with the dentist or doctor, but not the keys to your true feelings or the address of your greater awareness, the list of what deeply nourishes your being, the name of your life purpose, life passion, the way to make peace, the words to the song in your heart, the appointment you have every day with the beauty and possibility of the world unfolding inside and around you. Yes. Mark Nepo, Breaking Surface. Let no one keep you from your journey. No rabbi or priest, no mother who wants you to dig for treasures she misplaced, no father who won't let one life be enough, no lover who measures their worth by what you might give up, no voice that tells you in the night it can't be done. Let nothing dissuade you from seeing what you see, or feeling the winds that make you want to dance alone or go where no one has yet to go. You are the only explorer, your heart the unreadable compass, your soul the shore of a promise too great to be ignored. Beautiful. Thank you, Mark Nepos, so much for that. Thank you. I was going to read David White's poem, The True Love. Really, to me, about being heart-to-heart with yourself, but I think just in the interest of not running too much over tonight, I'm going to save that for another time, but you can find that easily out there. The True Love, it's all spelled with one word, True Love. Wonderful poem. Well, this is from Weekapaug, Rhode Island, nearby, February 2020. It's where I first landed, by the way, 4 years ago, yesterday, the 13th of February, 2020. I thought for a short while, but I never left. I found my place of belonging, and I'm still here, happily, joyfully, and heartfully. So here's a poem from that February of 2020. Stay salty. Stay briny. You roving, full-sailing, free-versing mariner. Keep the sun on your shoulders, the bright blue sea at your feet. Your face to the four winds, your chest swelling with sweet salt air. The cork of your heart all afloat, bobbing with ease, with saline joy. And so it has. So it is. And next to last, something else from Chloe Goodchild, something quite marvelous that I asked if I could share it, and she said I could with you. Here it is. The body is a house of song, a musicianship. The tongue is the rudder of the voice. The voice is the messenger of the heart. The heart is the music of the soul. The soul is the presence of spirit. The spirit is the ground of consciousness. Sound is the unifier of body, soul, and spirit. Thank you, Chloe, and that rings so true for me, maybe for you, on hearing it, feeling it. Well, last for now, till we're together again over these airwaves, over these heart waves. This is from the Central Park Reservoir, where I used to walk for decades, several times a day. This is in New York City. This was late June 2013. Flower Song. When you allow your garden to grow wild with sunlight, to grow open with heart light, everything thrives, everything sings, even the flowers. Thank you again, friends, for leaning in here, for thinking and feeling in, for taking in this heartful time together. If you enjoyed the show, please share it out or share the whole playlist. I would welcome hearing back anytime about your experience of this broadcast from the heart. And if the show pleased you, I'd also welcome any contribution you might like to make in return, or toward all these weekly offerings I lovingly create and freely give to engage, delight, and inspire you and others. You can donate by Venmo to Fivefold, Fivefold, at pipeline.com, or to PayPal to the same email. Or you can simply mail a check along to me to P.O. Box 1032, Westerly, Rhode Island 02891. Or contribute through the Donate tab at thepoetorialist.com. Is there any theme you'd like to see a future show on? Let me know. Colin at thepoetosphere.com. Meanwhile, you can hear all the broadcasts online on YouTube, currently on the Floating Poetry playlist there, and ultimately on other platforms. These broadcasts, by the way, if you don't know, come to you through the Poetosphere, the oasis of possibility I'm guiding, which you can explore as a visitor or join as a subscriber. If you haven't already, I invite you to get your senses wet there. Let your spirit stir there. You'll find much free and nourishing content and also see some of the faces of our community of possibilitarians. To make joining all the more attractive, I've made month and year-long subscriptions available between now and early April of this year of 2024. So either $118 versus $190 yearly when using the code SPRING24, all caps, all one word, or $14 monthly instead of $19 when using the code SPRINGNOW. And each code, yes, all caps. thepoetosphere.com awaits you. And also, by the way, a first album just released on Spotify today, and shortly everywhere else, every streaming platform and iTunes and all of that. It's called Oases of Regenesis. That's how you can find it. And the subtitle is Opening to Places of Greater Aliveness. I hope you'll take it in. And I hope you'll lean in here soon again. Until then, dear listeners, come as often and openly, deeply and generously as you can from the heart, straight from the heart of your being, that pure and wildly precious place oceans of goodness, kindness, and love can flow from, can glow from, can grow from. Goodbye for now, and good spirits.